wait a little bit more to start?
You can start topic.
Momat is not coming, and some other guys.
They will join very soon.
Who? Jason. Do you want me to start?
So let's wait for them
That's
for
why you
like
can start. You
2
can
more
start,
minutes. Are they not
Okay.
coming, Nelson?
Nelson is here.
No, the other people.
Nelson.
Hala
I
and
think they will join very soon.
Yes, Hala is not here.
They will join very soon after.
He came. Mohammed, how are you? Mama, you should reduce your voice. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Thank you. What is happening?
tsunami.
You switch your
Your loudspeaker.
yes, loudspeaker or voice or microphone. Okay. Buso, shall I start now, or is Hala is coming? Is she around? Tembuso, your voice is not good.
Uh-oh.
I think today, yes, today internet is not good. I think you come and go.
Tam, your voice is so bad.
Let's wait a few minutes more. I will wait 1 minute more, then I will start because Momat is quit. He's quitting. He quit. Nielsen is here. Momat is here. Nielsen is not here, I think. Momat is here. Nielsen
Yeah, he
is
left.
not here. He left, yes. I have to wait. What is happening to Nelson? Is he coming?
I don't know what's happening today.
You are not able to communicate with WhatsApp.
Let me check.
Let's go.
Okay, let's just start.
Is he coming or not? Because when I am starting, then he is trying to access to the meeting. Sometimes we are collapsing. The system
Yes,
collapse.
sir.
That's why I am asking. If he is coming, then I will wait. You don't have
Let me call.
communication to him.
Sir, I texted them. I don't know why they're not coming. Let me just call him to see if he's coming or not.
Do you have any question? If you do have any question, you can ask. Yes, please. Question. I have a question. Yes, Tembuso. You told me you can open your microphone. Or you want to write? Oh, Nils, you come back.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Allah
Yeah.
joining probably
Hey,
later.
network, what's the problem?
Yes, no problem.
Yeah, maybe.
We have always similar problems because the network is not very well.
Not strong. Yeah, that's it, sir. Okay.
Ah, you want calculations? I will send it. Don't worry. We have to learn this theoretical more, then I will do it. Don't worry. Okay. Okay, no problem. Your microphone not working. Okay, I will start to present you the. We are exercising today. Do you listen me? Do you see this? Do you see this PowerPoint? The slides is on. You see the slides? Do you see my slides?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Okay. Okay, we are starting the comparative advantages with trading under constant and increasing opportunity cost, and then go further in terms of trade and some others as much as we can do. As we start our lectures, we have exercised and learned trade which is more dependent to this estimates absolute advantages, and of course mercantilism sometimes with these regulations to ensure a positive trade relations and balance in the economy. The possible short-term, of course, world economical aspect is affected. Mostly it is the starting point as these real cost advantage of Adam Smith mostly used, and David Ricardo's comparative advantage of the initially. Because I mentioned to you, names without gain from trades is suggested. The network is bad, you said, but my network is okay. There is no problem. Probably yours is weak. Do you hear my voice? If you hear, probably some student network is not working, not from me. You listen my voice, okay?
I can hear you, sir.
You are here.
I think it's for everyone, sir. So if you could check it, because
Yes, sir, I can
we
hear
are
you,
all.
but
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's like very robotic.
yeah, but it's cracking a bit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's cracking a bit.
I don't know. Sometimes. Maybe the internet, but there is no anything. Sometimes because of the distances, what is happening? Sometimes it is a problem. I will like, okay, but now I can do anything. If I'm interrupt and check, then probably will create problem. We already started. You have the slides either, then you will then follow the slides also, because I am going to give you the information also. Then after this, you have the recorded voice. You will listen and you will probably get better. Comparative advantages, as I said to you, is then to this lower relative cost advantages, not the lower advantages of Adam Smith. Therefore, relative cost advantages, of course, becoming very important, since it is concentrated to this, of course, unit labor cost advantages in the economy. When we are having here this absolute and comparative advantages regarding the given example, the absolute advantages is also concentrated to these real preferences and real cost advantages. And when you are looking to this example, you are observing there is United States and United Kingdom with wine and cloth again, which is 5 bottles and 15 bottles United Kingdom, and 20 yards clothes for the United States, and United Kingdom for the UK 10 yards. The comparative advantages here is becoming important for comparing with the output per labor hour. And when you are looking here, if the United States produce 40 bottles and 40 yards, and United Kingdom or UK produce 20 bottles and 10 yards, and you are observing with these real cost advantages in, of course, United States having the, of course, preferences. But of course, as I said to you, when you are putting the comparative advantages in money, in currency, then you have these differences, which is given here, as United States has 1 hour $20, which is going to be multiplied for 40, is then of course 20 yards per dollar calculated, and for UK 1 hour is pound hour, then is multiplied it with 0.5, because it is given below that the UK pay $8 for 10 yards clothes and $32 for $40 clothes. Compared to the US, it is expensive. And when you are looking to this $8 for 20 bottles wine, and it makes $16 for 40 bottles, with comparative to the United States, it is cheaper. And US has comparative advantages in cloth production, and the UK has the comparative advantage in wine production. When you are putting this calculation, which is given here, you are observing they are having, of course, preferences with higher product produced, and $1 is supposed to be, sorry, £1 supposed to be $1.6 according to this estimation. Then we are having here. Then US have 20 units hour and UK has 8 unit hour. And when you are looking to the clothes, uh, it is then becoming 20 units and 8 for the UK for the clothes. And when you are looking to the wine, it is becoming for the United States 20, and of course for the UK again 8, which is, as I said to you, US has these comparative advantages in cloth production and UK has comparative advantages in wine production because it is, regarding to the UK, cheaper. You are producing more compared to the UK economy. And production possibility schedule, when we are looking the generalized theory to include all factors, not just labor, shows the combination of the products that can be made if all factors are used efficiently. If efficiently use these products, then we are having, of course, again a scenario. Two goods is introduced to you or will be introduced to you, and introducing the production possible frontier in, of course, linear equation style. Slope of this marginal rate of transformation shows the opportunity cost of making more of one good and, of course, giving up much more to the other for getting the goods that you are expecting. When you are to this marginal rate of transformation, which is, of course, linearly illustrated, wheat and auto, as much as you are reducing wheat production, you will get more from auto. And slope of this marginal rate of transformation is the slope, of course, delta V divided to delta auto is 0.5, which is, of course, is in preferences to producing more auto. This marginal rate of transformation is, of course, illustrated here for producing extra X, so you have to give up more Y, or vice versa is valid or acceptable. This production possible frontier is illustrated here. Do you see this slide? You are following this slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the production possible
Yes, sir,
frontier is given here. As you see, the slope is, of course,
yes, sir.
marginal rate of transformation, and this marginal rate of transformation here is supposed to be, as the here in given scenario, delta X over delta Y, which is apple to banana ratio is given, and this then, of course, you are understanding you should reduce one's production to increase the others. Therefore, in the economics, this is the main issue. When you are reducing one product and increasing the other, will it be, of course, profitable, or the proficiency and the productivity is going to increase and enlarge in the economy, or the opposite is questionable. The terms of trade, of course, in the international trade is becoming important because you are going to exercise the relationship between the exportable goods price to the importable goods price, and this will then help you to understand how it is going to be realized for your country, how the terms of trade affecting and changing the, of course, resources in your economy is subjected, and it is important. If we are giving here an example, over a given period, the index of export price is supposed to be increased 10%, and the index price for the, of course, importable goods is supposed to be 5%, and then of course 110 over 105 multiplied with 100 will gives you 104.8, which means the terms of trade have improved by 4.8 in given period or in given scenario. When the terms of trade rise above, they suppose that there is an improvement in the economy, and when this is below 100, then it is supposed to be the economy or the terms of trade relations, which is affecting balance of payments, and of course the net export is worsening. For improving terms of trade, if a country's terms of trade improves, it means that for every country of export sold, it can buy more units of improving goods. So potentially a rise in the terms of trade creates a benefit in terms of how many goods needs to be exported to buy given amount of imports. You are observing my slides because I changed it.
Yes, sir.
A beneficial on domestic cost push in these falling import prices relative to the export prices. Therefore, this is somehow, as much as you are increasing import, this is negatively affecting your economy. This is not good for your economy. So you have to carefully treat this. Increasing the economy, and of course you are reducing your resources as much as the importable goods increase in your economy. The resource transfer will be realized towards to the other destination, towards to the other nations, and this is the of course in your economy. Countries may have suffered or in terms of falling export volume and a worsening payment problems after this terms of trade reduced and of course below 300. Therefore, you have to manage this terms of trade as much as possible to the higher than 100. International trade and position of the opportunity or opportunity cost curve is again here is linear illustrated. If the slope of transformation curve in two countries are the same as it is illustrated here, then there is no need to make any trade. The opportunity cost of curve parallel to each other, no trade can be possible. There is no need to make any trade relation or trade transaction between the nations because this is not necessarily realized as it is illustrated here. If both nations terms of trade and of course position of the opportunity cost is parallel, then why you have to increase your trade and reduce your of course resources, which is not profitable as it is indicated on the graphic. The gains from the trade can emerge only when the slope of the transformation curve are different. It signifies the presence of differences in relative cost ratio. These two cases have been explained through the figure 6.2 and 6.2b, which is going to be given to you in the following slide. In such a case, the cost ratio of two commodities in both the countries are also equal. Therefore, international trade cannot take place as a country stand to gain through trade. As you are observing here, in figure B, 6.2b, which is illustrated below, AB and A1B1 represent the opportunity cost curve concerning the countries A and B respectively.
I cannot see the thingy, the slides.
You don't see the slides?
There.
Really?
Yeah, it's gone.
You don't see? But I changed it. It stopped.
Yes, sir.
You see now or you don't? Sometimes it's slowly coming.
Yeah.
Can you guys see?
We can see now.
Probably it's
No, we can't see. We can't see actually.
You can see. You can see. You can see or you cannot see. You cannot. Or you say you can.
We can't see. We
Really?
cannot see.
But Nelson says you cannot also. You cannot. Okay, then let me quit this presentation and do it again.
All right,
You saw?
Okay, sir.
Because I think it was
now we can.
it was not it was interrupted for you. If somebody moves and comes, the system's changing. As I said to you, when you are looking to this straight line, opportunity cost curve is parallel again, and there are of course slope which is same. When the slope of AB is OA and OB, as it is illustrated, and that of A1 and B1 is OA1 over OAB, and OA over OB is equal to OA1 over OB1. Therefore, this sometimes expressible. You see this slope here is supposed to be equally distributed and realized, and there is no need to make any trade transaction between the nations. We are looking to this figure where the trade under constant opportunity cost illustrated when you are observing the United States and Canada's trade relations. And when you look to these figures with constant opportunity cost and its comparative advantages, and principle of comparative advantages implies that with specialization and free trade, a nation enjoys production gains and consumption gains. A nation's trade triangle denotes its exports and imports and terms of trade. In this scenario, create the trade triangle. One nation equals to the other nations, and one nation's export equals to the other nation's import in terms of trade, which means the terms of trade that I'm going to exercise the following lecture with details. Terms of trade illustrating the trade capacity of one nation towards the other nations. And if it is constant, then of course sometimes it may realize in this direction for not losing any welfare between these two nations, as it is illustrated here. Shifting the marginal rate of transformation one is 1 to 1 from 60 to 120, and when you are observing here, when you are shifting the marginal rate of transformation from 2, because 160 divided to 80 is 2, and here 60 divided to 120 is open. You are shifting this rate and of course enlarging your production possibility frontiers towards the 120, then you are equalizing your terms of trade to 1 to 1, and here you are shifting again your auto production from 80 to 160, then you are equalizing your trade possibility to 1 to 1 again, then this will then equalize the trade relations, which is the mean of exportable goods. As much as you are doing, you will import as much as you are getting. Therefore, this is then how it is realized with, of course, trading under constant opportunity costs in the international economics. When we are looking and interpreting this figure, of course, we are noticing that the production possibility schedule for the United States and Canada are drawn as straight lines. The fact that these schedules are linear indicates that the relative cost of the two products do not change as the economy shifts its production from all wheat to all autos or anywhere in between. This means there is, of course, linear, of course, relationship, and this constant opportunity cost can be replaced between these two products with as illustrated and figured on the graph. For the United States, the relative cost of auto is supposed to be 0.5 for the bushels of wheat as auto expands or constructs. For the Canada, the relative cost of an auto is 2 bushels of wheat as an output, expand, or contract. Therefore, when you are enlarging export, as it is illustrated here, from 60 to 120 and from 80 to 160, then there is no problem. Then this means then you can give up all production which is expected to be here. You will then produce more, of course, wheat instead of auto, and you will then produce more auto instead of wheat. Therefore, the terms of trade is realized bilaterally between United States and Canada. One-to-one exportable goods and importable goods is observed. And of course, when you are creating such competitive market structure, this is good to know. You are having the relative lower cost advantages, which is boosting your economy and enlarging your capacity to become more competitive in the international market. This is the logic of the EU market or ERE, because in the European Union, as you know, there is intra-industry trade, similar goods market structure, where the participants of this market are similarly produced and similar goods market participant, and they are enlarging and increasing their capacity as much as they are becoming competitive in the international market. When we are looking to this, of course, constant costs, we are understanding that there is the factors of production are perfectly substitutes for each other. And secondly, all unit factors are of the same quality. Therefore, there is no problem to question whether it is profit not causing to one production possibility for and of course opportunity given to you for enlarging and increasing your economical challenging power or economical power. As the countries transfer resources from the production of wheat to the production of autos or vice versa, this does not mean that the country will not use resources that are inadequate for the production of the good. Therefore, the country must sacrifice exactly the same amount of wheat for each additional auto produced. Of course, here we are not talking about 1 out of 1 kilo wheat. We are talking about 1 auto cost of wheat will be done literally in the country where you are exporting and importing. Because if you are the producer of wheat and you are producing and exporting that much, then you are expecting to cover with 1 auto is also no problem. With 1,000-ton wheat can be exported for 1 auto is possibly realized, because this will then create you the similar, of course, resources in your country, and this then, of course, creating more competitive market in international economic aspect. When we are looking to this sample scenario, the constant opportunity cost is here equated for the US economy and Canada, and the work together will be created with these two nations. Before specialization, the autos is supposed to be 40 to 40, and wheat production is 40 to 80. Then you have, of course, for the world, 80 to 120. After specialization with the comparative advantages, you give up this 40 wheat and become 120, and you give up this autos for the Canada and become 160, as it is illustrated in the graphic, and the, of course, world market will become enlarged as you are observing in the home market. Also, you enlarge your market capacity to 160 and 120 for the United States, which is good to know. You are having more production in your country and you are having more production in the world. As you are observing, 120 is more than 80. If you are adding this 40 to 40 is 80, and when you are adding this 40 to 80, it becomes 120, and you are having here 160, which is more than you are producing before specialization. And when you are looking to the net gain for these countries, the US economy will become minus 40, but will become 80 profit, and Canada will reduce minus 40, but will become plus 80 for the economy. And in the world, as you see, 40 to 40, the net gain is observed, which is good for the, of course, countries' bilateral trade relations. You are enlarging your production operation process, and you are becoming somehow the leading position, and of course the franchising company or the large scale producers in the economy. When we are looking here, the constant opportunity cost before trade realized, the US economy and Canada is again illustrated. 40 to 40 and 40 to 80 is given here for wheat and for auto, and together for the world is 80 to 180. After trade realized, before it was the specialization, now we are supposing and subjecting the trade relations. The after trade relations created, the auto production is becoming 60 to 60 for the US and Canada, and the wheat production is becoming 60 to 100. And of course, for the world is 120 and 160, which is of course enlarging again. And net gain here, as you are observing, for the US economy, 20 to 20 for wheat and autos, and Canada 20 to 20 for the auto and wheat production realized, and for the world altogether 40 to 40. As you see, this is increasing the world trade towards the world market as much as possible in the positive direction. Changing comparative advantages. Suppose the production possibility schedules for computers and automobiles of the United States and Japan under conditions of constant opportunity cost is as follows. The marginal rate of transformation of automobiles into computers initially equals 1.0 for the United States and 2.0 for the Japan. The United States thus has a comparative advantages, as you are observing here, in the production of computers and comparative advantages in auto production. Therefore, suppose both nations experiences productivity increase in manufacturing computers, but no productivity change in manufacturing automobiles. Assume that the United States increases the computer manufacturing productivity by 50%, from 100 to 50. 150 is supposed to be enlarged now here, and the Japan, of course, increases its computer engineering and of course the technology. Therefore, the productivity is increasing 300%. Therefore, from 40 to 160 computers is expected to be realized. This is then how it is realized in the economical aspect when you are concentrating this comparative advantage, of course, the opportunity cost market. When we are looking to this changing comparative advantages, the comparative advantages to relative cost advantages given here again for the United States for 100 to 100, which is 1, and after then it is going to be 100 to 150, which is the ratio delta auto to delta computer is going to be 0.67, which means 100 to 150 divided then will give you, of course, 0.67. When we are looking to the Japan industry, auto computer ratio was 2, and after this trade enlargement, it becomes 0.5, where the substitution is, of course, becomes to 0.5. If productivity in the Japan computer industry grows faster than it does in the United States computer industry, the opportunity cost of each computer produced in the United States increase the relative to the opportunity cost of the Japan. Therefore, for the United States, comparative advantages shift from computers to auto, isn't it? It should be realized in this direction because United States become more competitive since the marginal rate of transformation becomes to 0.6, and of course for the Japan becomes to 0.5. When we are looking to this production possibility frontier, the slide's moving, it moves, isn't it? When we are looking to this production possibility schedule or frontier under increasing cost. Now we are having this increasing opportunity instead of constant opportunity. We are observing the slope of the first A point, which it should be equally distributed between these two, is of course 1A divided to 1 auto divided to 1, which is equally sloped. When we are looking to the B, then is of course here 1A or auto is supposed to be for bit or W. Then as you are seeing, the slope is becoming 1 to 4, which is then of course when you are replacing this so-called the budget line on the production possibility frontier, you will get different slopes, and this then of course indicating you the different combination of this product create you some space for exporting or importing, which we are going to exercise this in the following lectures, because this transformation curves or production possibility frontiers is the possibility or the production possibility area of the nation. And when you are moving on this line, you can use or increase your production capacity regarding to your exportable goods or importable goods that you are desiring. If you are moving to B, then you will export more wheat. If you are moving to A, then you are expecting, or we are expecting, that this country will become more auto exporter, because they are consuming less auto in the country and consume more wheat in the country, where the A is the, of course, tangent point, and the, of course, equilibrium position of the economy realized in a given scenario here we are illustrating. If you have any question, you will ask me. Then again to the change comparative advantages with the linear, of course, lower relative cost and productivity and production possibility frontiers, the opportunity cost curves. When you look here again, we have this already shifted to the computer for the United States and increased for the Japan, for the, of course, autos, because since United States become more transformation for the computers, then it is expected to become this direction. When we are observing this supply curve for the autos, you are understanding that as much as you are increasing auto production, what is happening? It becomes, of course, less and less auto production towards the wheat. This means more auto to get more wheat, because the slope of the supply curve indicates that by time when you are enlarging auto production, your wheat production will become enlarged, but your auto production will not anymore require to enlarge, because wheat production become more stepper, more vertical position, as you are observing in this curve. And when we are looking to this trading under increasing opportunity cost, you are having here again the point A and point P on the transformation, and from B to C it is expected to be realized, because since the so-called the production possibility frontier tangent to this budget line of the governments of these nations, TT on the B is supposed to be 1A to 1B, which means 1 auto equal to 1B. And when you are moving to this point to A, then you are observing 1 auto will respond to 0.33 wheat, which means you have to produce more wheat for covering this auto cost in this scenario. And when we are looking here, when you are moving to this B to C, the other part of the example, you will observe here, it becomes more horizontal, You see, you are having 1A to 1V again to TT, and when you are moving from B to C, then this will again in scenario where this TC is indicated. 1A is equal to 3V, which means you are, of course, becoming more wheat exporter and less auto required. Trade increasing opportunity cost in following figure. I will give you now more precise information with the following figure. Assume that in the absence of trade, the United States and the I have to show you the figure first, I think. It is not very clear, I think. In the first graphic, we are illustrating the United States, which is given separately to you. I put all together in this graphic. As you are observing here, we are having here the position for the United States at A, and it is supposed to be moved to B and then to C for producing and enlarging the economical profitability, as it is illustrated here in this graphic. But here we have some more additional information. And for the Canada, it is moving, as you are observing, from wheat to auto. It is becoming more auto producer, and it is of course enlarging the wheat production as much as possible as it can be. And after this is realized, we are having more auto production in the United States, and we are having less auto production in the Canada, and this then of course shifting the economy more wheat production in Canada and less wheat production in the United States, since this of course marginal rate of transformation becomes 0.63 for the United States, and for the Canada becomes let's say 3. This will create more market the economy for the bilaterally. Therefore, exporting car in United States becomes critical, and exporting wheat becomes cheaper in the Canada. Therefore, it is expected that Canada will become wheat producer or wheat exporter. Of course, United States, vice versa, will become the auto exporter. The trade increasing opportunity cost, as you are observing for the United States, relative cost of wheat is indicated by the slope of the line, which is T United States, tangent to the production possibility schedule at point A, which is 0.32 bushels of wheat. In like manner, Canada relative cost of wheat into auto indicated by the slope of line TC, which is 1 auto to 3 bushels of wheat, which they see auto are relatively cheaper in the United States and wheat in relatively cheaper in the Canada. According to the law of comparative advantages, the United States will become exportable goods for the autos, and Canada will become an exportable goods partner or export country for the wheat production. Wheat in Canada is cheaper, and relative cost advantages is preferable comparing to the United States. And for the United States, of course, opposite is expected. The auto export is supposed to be realized because it is more cheap or more preferable in production operation process. It is more, let's say, relative lower cost advantage is subjected for the United States producer. For the auto export, for the auto production. As the United States specializes in auto production, it slides downward along its production possibility frontier from point A to point B. The relative cost of autos in terms of width rises as implied by the increase in the absolute slope of the production possibility schedule. Every time Canada specializes in width, as Canada moves upward along its possible production frontier or curve from point A to point B, the relative cost of auto in terms of width decreases as evidenced by the decrease in the absolute slope of its production possibility schedule in the graphic as it is given to you in the former slide. The increasing opportunity cost with increasing opportunity cost, comparative product price in each country are determined by both supply and demand factors. A country tends to partially specialize in the product of its comparative advantage under increasing cost conditions, of course, not the constant cost. The process of specialization continues in both nations until relative cost of autos is identical in both nations and the United States exports of autos are precisely equal to Canada's import of autos, and conversely for the wheat is expected to be realized for becoming trade partner in the two nations. Production specialization is given with the increasing opportunity cost again. And when we are looking to this table, before specialization, the auto production and specialization realized for the United States is 5 and 18 for the wheat, and for the Canada, 17 autos and 6 wheat is supposed to be realized, and for the whole as a whole, 22 autos and 24 is expected as a unit, of course, is given here. Maybe it is ton, is maybe million ton or then after the specialization, United States supposed to cars and Canada in car is expected to be produced, and in 13 realized for the US and for Canada, and together for the is supposed to be 26 is realized. The net gain here is supposed to be 7 after specialization, auto for the United States, and for the wheat after giving up it is supposed to be -4 for the wheat production, and for the Canada it is supposed to be after giving up this auto production 4 -4 is realized for the reduction in the production, and of course 7 maybe ton wheat production is expected to be as a gain, as an increase in the production operation process, and as a whole total net gain for the world is as you're observing 3 to 3 for the auto and wheat realized. And when we are looking to these consumption gains from trade, increased opportunity cost before trade, US for the consumption, of course, here before trade for the United States autos 5 and wheat is supposed to be 18 for the Canada 17 and autos, and for the wheat production it is supposed to be 6, and for the world as a whole 22 autos and 24 wheat is supposed to be consumption gain realized before trade. And after trade, when we are looking to these numbers, this is not change for the United States, but it is increased for the wheat production 21 as a consumption because it is increasing. For the Canada, it is again after the trade is realized from 17 to 20 is expected to be consumption increase, and for the wheat, no change realized. And when you are looking to this after trade world position, the world trade, enlarge and increase the amount of this production and of course consumption. 25, and for the wheat is 27 is realized. And net gain, when we are looking here, for the United States, 0 consumption for the autos observed, and for the United States wheat, 3 point or 3 unit consumption increase or gain is expected. For the Canada, auto is expected to be increased, and for the Canada, 0 wheat consumption expected, and of course consumption, not production. And as a whole, 3 and 3 wheat extra expected to be increases production and of course consumption in the market observed. When we are looking to the trade openness, of course, bringing some information about the foreign trade to gross domestic product, which is the ratio generally known as the trade openness. It is the ratio of sum of exports and imports to the gross domestic product, and the formula is export plus imports divided to the GDP multiplied with 100 will then gives you the, and it's very important to understand these countries exportable good market in the UK theories is supposed to be suggested that the ability of firms to gain economies of scale, which is the mean of enlarging the, of course, production process, and of course, by this you are reducing your cost and of course incur profit with this international market. Countries may become in these productions for those that the world market can only support a limited number of firms. And as you know, in the international market, we have the trademarks, we have the certain quality standards, and the countries become, of course, special in this direction and become franchising company as Mercedes, as Hewlett-Packard, as Nestle, as Philips, as Panasonic, as BMW, Lenovo, or Samsung, iPhone, too many. Especially in mobile industry, we have 2 important countries within the southern part. The iPhone is the other side where the American product become the challenging power. Therefore, when you are becoming international power and international challenging and trade, you are having, of course, this for all markets. Michael Porter's tried to explain why a nation achieves international success in a particular industry. Porter identified 4 attributes that promote or implement the creation of competitive advantages: factors, demand conditions, relating and rivals or rivalries. And when we are looking to this structure, firm strategy, structure, and rivalry becomes, of course, affected demand conditions, factor endowments, and related and supporting industries, which is in vertical and, of course, horizontally affecting and changing these industries in the international markets. We are, of course, questioning Porter's theory whether it is going to be hold. The government policy can affect demand through product standards. If it is, there is, or if it is existing in the market, influences rivalry through regulation and antitrust law, which is necessary for preventing this, of course, monopoly and oligopoly structure, and impact the availability of highly educated workers, which is the know-how, which is necessary to increase the know-how and advanced transportation infrastructure, and before policy and the chance for work as a reinforcing system system, complementing each other and combination, creating the conditions for competitive advantages. So far, Porter's theory has not been sufficiently tested to know how well it holds up, then it is still therefore we are not of course able to estimate its effective or impact on the international market. What are the implications of the trade theory for managers? Location implications: a firm should disperse its various productive activities to those countries where they first mover implication. First mover advantage can help a firm dominate global trade in that product, and in that market will then become of course the dominant position as much as possible until the maturity position where the rivals becomes take part into the market. Policy implications: firms should work to encourage governmental policies that support free trade, because free trade is important and very comparative advantages or comparative cost advantages, increasing and enlarging the welfare and of course the world market. Therefore, if you are concentrating to the national economical aspect or domestic market, your economy exercise a problem as in North Korea exercise a closed economy, no relation with others, and no competitive market structure realized. Only the limited market structure is observed, and limited relations with China or Japan observed. And this is then of course not good, because economy need to be boosted, of course, competitive structure and of technology and know-how and other impact which is enlarging and increasing your capacity to the challenging world market. And this will then of course the only way for increasing your economy with import and export. You don't have to use export regime or import replacement regime. This is not good. You have to enlarge and increase market with the challenging power, with the quality standards, with the high tech products, where in Germany realized, where in Finland realized, where in the UK realized, where in some Chinese of course multinational companies realizing, because most of the firms are currently in the China. Therefore, this kind of international market structure will enlarge and increase the, of course, multinational companies' power towards to the world global market. When we are looking to the balance of payments from this aspect, whether it is going to be increased or decreased, because balance of payments problem is of course always problem for the economies. They are questioning whether we are going to open our doors or gates or our customs to the foreigners or not. As you are observing in the United States, there are too many barriers towards the Latin countries. In the EU countries, there are too many barriers towards the third nations, towards the Asian, South Asian, or the Eastern countries. This is realized because they are trying to prevent and protect their existing industries where they are not competitive, where they are requiring and they are need to maintain this industry, such as agricultural products, such as similar products in the food and beverages, because you can replace agricultural sector or beverages with other nations products. You can do this if you are not competitive, but you can replace your existing products, because you will then deliver your all power and your all existence to the other nations. Therefore, you have to be able to maintain your existing production capacity, and of course, you have to put some limitation to the third world products. But if you don't have in your country such products to let them to come in and enjoy the access to your country, this is then of course will not affect your balance of payments, because balance of payments problem come usually from that products where you are not having challenging power, where you are not having this energy or gas or something that you are using in your production operation process. This will then increasing and enlarging your current account deficit, and this is then of course a big issue that in the global market need to be solved. The capital account, of course, is very heavily affected from this global and transfer transactions in the Switzerland, the most of the capital market. But now, as you are observing, there are several markets be located in the Asian countries, in the southern countries, in the European countries. Too many capital markets, and of course, bank observe every countries. For example, when you are looking to the international banking financing companies, they are now in everywhere because they are capturing this capital and transferring their, because they are having their businesses in your country, and this is increasing and large monetary transactions. Therefore, countries' capital market cannot be easily controlled with this structure. And financial ability and financial account records are also not very easily controlled because internet access, bitcoins, too many business activities, and of course structure currently working the bitcoins in, and of course paper markets, bond markets. These are all affecting and changing the capital accounts from one country to another, just only pushing the button, and this then of course causing too much problem. Most of the fiscal or financial crisis or currency crisis coming from these transactions, because countries are able to control them to button from the country to another, because the of course global market, and they are having their in of course other franchising companies, departments, and of course in banking sector. And this is then of course the reality. In current days, we are having too much problems for controlling this capital, controlling this money markets, and this is then of course coming from this global production in especially the China, which is distributing to the whole world and become a very important contributor to the world market. It is also important to note that the rich countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and mixed countries, Mexico, Indonesia, South Korea, South Africa, Turkey also are in this franchising network, and they are also joining this market, also affecting this market. But most of these reserves still dependent two countries. The one is United so-called, and the other one is the United States, where the most of the rich Rockefeller, Rothschilds, and other companies were holding their capital in their hands and controlling all the markets without any problem. And when we are looking to this balance of payments and exchange rate, which is illustrated, you see the balance of payment are dependent to the current account balance, which is export minus import, the capital account balance, which is the capital inflow and capital outflow, and financial account balance, which is the financial inflow and financial outflow, and the reserve balance, which is the official monetary reserve system controlling all this, all together creating this balance of payment for the global market when we are looking to the area. And it is of course affecting you nationally, domestically, because we are all dependent to this franchising banking sector, and we are not excluding our banking sector from this market. In Cyprus, in Turkey, in Azerbaijan, in Nigeria, there is banking sectors and banking departments, which is internationally franchising realized. And this is then of course creating this balance of payment for the global market when we are looking to the area. And it is of course affecting you nationally, domestically, because we are all dependent to this franchising banking sector, and we are not excluding our banking sector from this market. In Cyprus, in Turkey, in Azerbaijan, in Nigeria, there is banking sectors and banking departments, which is internationally franchising realized. actively working and creating these transfers from each other, and this monetary, of course, affecting our balance, because as current account balance, capital account, financial account, and reserve ratio, reserve balance, all this together affecting and changing our payments, balance of payments, because balance of payments are not only dependent to export minus import, which is in the current account balance illustrated. It is also affected from the other capital account, financial account, and reserve balance either together. And income, production, and of course expenditure, when looking to Keynesian aspect, the Y, so-called the GDP, is equal to CSI plus G, which is the GDP is of course is the total amount of the GDP, which is the calculation of the total capital, is the gross national income or gross national expenditure in the country's level. Then this, then of course, can be illustrated in this direction. The trade balance also refers to a net export and may be positive or negative. As I said to you, this trade balance, which is export minus import, in a very primitive and very basic knowledge, can be illustrated. As I mentioned to you, it is not that much easy. It is also affected from financial and other accounts. And of course, if balance of trade is positive, we may say we have more export and more capital. Then of course we have then current account positive, not deficit. We have then current account surplus in our economy. And if it is negative, if the balance of trade is negative or less than zero, which means import are greater than export, but also it means we have the current account deficit and we have the negative value in the economy, and this is then of course negatively affecting and of course reducing our ability to move and enlarge our economy. Because if you have deficit in your economy, or if your current account deficit is in negative, then you have to learn to increase and enlarge your capacity for your reserve, for your banking sector, because deficit in economy means that you have debt problem. You have the debt problem and you cannot increase and enlarge your, of course, saving and investment easily, since you don't have capital in your hands. Okay, then this was the lecture for today. If you have any question, you will ask me. If you don't have them, then I will stop here. Then next week we will go further. You have any question? Do you listening me, or you sleeping?
No, sir, we don't have any question.
Are you satisfied? Is okay? Do you have any question? Yes, I know, because online is very difficult. I am also not. I also think if I am writing and showing you some calculations, you will understand easily. But online is not easy, as you know. I will put some calculations for you, and you will understand. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
If you don't have any
question,
then I will thank you for your joining, and see you next week.
Thank you, sir. See you. Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah, take care.
Bye bye.
Okay, sir.
Bye bye.